Okay, we're good to go.
All right, let's see, has everyone had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
I'll call the June meeting, our regular Talbot County Board of Tax Assessors meeting to order. The first item is to approve the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review proposed agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, Lauren, I don't see there's no public appearances this morning.
No, sir.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda's approved. The next item is approve the minutes from our last meeting on May the 5th. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
I believe it's included in your packet.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's see, Lauren, I see you made a minor correction. I think I pointed out a typo or something.
Yeah, I had typed the 6th at the top on the date, but I got it corrected. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from last month?
I move that we approve the minutes from last month as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are passed, approved. See, Lauren, your first item is the update on the personal property audit.
Yes, sir. And we do have some movement on that this month. They have gotten us a couple of audits, but they came in, one of them came in late Monday, and then another one followed yesterday. And we did not put them on the agenda because they have kind of changed the format, and Jan and I were wanting to familiarize ourselves with that a little bit more before we presented it to you guys to make sure, you know, that we had everything in order and that we understood all the changes. So we have been going over that with the company, and I feel like we will have several audits to present at the next meeting.
Okay, do you have an estimate from them on when they're going to complete all the work?
No, they have not given an estimate on when they are going to complete all the work. So I know that he has told me that they have been tied up in a lot of BOE hearings and things like that from appeals with other counties that they're doing. And so I don't have a date for completion, but I was really happy just to see some movement and to know that they have got someone on staff that is working on our audit. So
Right. Well, keep the pressure on them. I don't want to get up here to the goal line and, you know, not, we need to get on a cross and score a touchdown, so to speak.
yes, sir.
Get it done. And I'm getting a little frustrated, you know, here in the last few months. I'm sure you are too.
Yes, sir.
None of us saw the developments with the staff turnover and all.
Yes, sir. It has been frustrating, and I have been frustrated as well. And my plan was that if I did not have a significant amount of audits to present at the next meeting, to ask Mr. Dean to appear so that y'all could you know, ask the questions and get answers from him yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, well, just stay behind them. And like I say, you and Jan need to be, you know, review the reports and ask any questions, make sure you're comfortable with them before you present them to us.
Right, yes, sir. That's why we haven't, that's why we didn't have the two to present today.
Because when you present them to us, you'll be recommending approval, so.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thanks. Does anybody have any questions for Lauren on the? Hearing none, we'll keep moving along then, move into new business. First item is error and releases.
Yes, sir. And For that, there is just one. It is for Alton Jenkins. And it's for a personal property account. And the value originally was 0 and it was revised to the 41,029. Give me just a second and I'll pull that paperwork out. I believe that is a mobile home, a pre-built mobile home. Yes, sir. So this is for a pre-built mobile home, and it was an older mobile home was removed and it was replaced with a newer mobile home through the grant program. And I believe this is in the city of Geneva and they're not in the permitting system. And so we did not receive the information on this grant mobile home until May 4th of 2021. And we verified it the next day on the 5th with a field review and made photos. And so we added it to the pre-built digest as a not on digest mobile home, and it was sent for billing.
Okay. All right, so I take it you're recommending that we approve.
Yes, sir.
We need a motion to approve this error and release is presented and recommended for approval.
I move that we approve the error and release as presented for approval.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right, thanks, Lauren. And then let's see, moving on, the next item is the fiscal year 2021 budget is so that's the current budget we're in right now.
Yes, sir. And so everything really looks good overall for this current budget. We are currently on a budget freeze, so no purchases are taking place unless they're emergency purchases. As you can see, there's just 3 accounts where we have very small overages. The office supplies are over by $592, and basically that has been us having to make purchases that are expenditures that weren't initially planned for, such as things with the
Will that be face mask and stuff?
yes, and hand sanitizer, and our vacuum cleaner went out, and so that went under office supplies. So it's just a few things like that, but the overage is not significant at all. And then the overage under Q Public, that was approved by the Board of Commissioners, and they will be moving funds around for that. But in all honesty, we have money left in a significant amount of money left in several accounts that can be moved to cover these. So I don't see any concerns whatsoever.
Okay, and then I see this was April, so there's still, even though here we are in June, there's still at least 2 months that haven't hit yet. And then I know things come in.
Yeah, we have the
Like
entire
that.
month of May and then June. But like I said, we've been under a budget freeze, so I don't expect there to be very much change. Of course, there have been some small purchases made, but it's nothing significant.
Okay, all right. Let's see, are there any questions for Lauren on her report?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll move on. Let's see, the next item is a 30-day change of assessment.
Yes, and just to remind you guys what this is, as we sent the notices out and people have come in, and to ask questions or to, make note that there was an issue with the assessment for whatever reason, when at that point we review their statements, and if necessary, we go and do a field visit to verify and make changes. Some of these are in response to appeals. And so on this first personal property one, that is Hester Logging had moved their equipment, I believe it is, to another county, and they had disposed of some assets and their return came in late. And so that is the change there, where it zero valued that account. Do you have any questions?
Where do they still have a business?
No, the business was closed, but when they transferred their assets to Flint Hill Logging Company.
Okay, so they say sold or transferred. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's not a like Secretary of State or business, whatever, there's no longer in Talbot County.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so the next list is for real property. And I'll have to look at each one of these individually to refresh my memory if y'all have questions. Some of these I know, but this first one I need to.
I tell you, why don't we act on this personal property when I'll entertain a motion to approve it based as presented and recommended. And then you can be getting your notes on the next list, the real property.
Okay.
I move that we approve the personal property list as presented.
A second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the personal property 30-day notice of assessment as presented and recommended for approval. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, all right, motion passes. And let's see, Lauren, then moving on to the real property. And why don't you briefly update us on that issue about the mailing? I'm not sure that everyone's aware.
Do you want to talk about that now or in the chief appraiser update?
Well, it's dealing with appeals, and the time didn't have to start the like a new 45-day about a week or so later.
Yes,
Some of the
sir.
addresses were wrong.
Yes,
Some of
sir.
the names were wrong. Just quickly and succinctly bring us up to date on that. Seemed like
Okay.
you worked with a vendor and they did that at their own expense, didn't they? Had to remail a bunch.
That's correct. So there was an issue with the vendor when they did the initial mailing on the assessment notices. Somehow or another, if the mailing address was the same, it merged the names on the account on multiple accounts. So for instance, if John Smith owned a property and his mailing address was 123 Smith Street, and then Robert Smith owned a separate property and his mailing address was also 123 Smith Street, then both notices went out with the name of John Smith on them. And so it looked like there was an ownership issue.
Mhm.
The vendor did some checks. They could not isolate the problem. And when they ran it again, it didn't happen. So they were not really sure where in the tech side, there was an issue. And so they tried for several days to just isolate it so they could only remail the ones that had the problem. But they were not able to do that. So finally, we just decided that to err on the side of caution, that we would remail notices countywide. And so they did that at their expense, which changed our dates. So now the final date for appeal falls on July the 5th, which is a holiday. So the 6th will be the last day that people can turn in their appeals now. And so the new notices are posted on the website. And originally, the notices that were posted on the website had all the correct information on them, even though the ones that were mailed did not. So y'all have any questions about that?
Just I was going to comment that I think that was the smart thing to do, because we don't want any issue about, the properly serving the notice to people, and triggering the 45-day period and so on, to come up down the road. So it sounded like it was a computer glitch then that they never could put their finger on. And then they did that at their own expense once that was discovered. And I think it was when folks got their notices, they were calling you about having the wrong names and so on.
Yes, sir.
It was caught quickly, and sounded like you got on top of it. And I was going to commend you on your diligence on sort of hound dogging that and getting that fixed.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
And then I guess too, on the appeals, I did share an email with Carol, just giving her an update that week that the notices went out. I sent, I guess that Saturday, I did a right detailed email to her, sort of a report on the decisions we had made as a board, and just thanking Carol and the Board of Commissioners for their support and everything, but wanted them to have a heads up that the notices were going out and that folks were seeing an increase this year, based on our sales study findings and so on.
Okay.
All right, so Linda, so now we move in, then you've got a list of some 30-day let's see, you've got some to present to us for approval here.
Yes, sir. And so I just want to remind you guys that this previous value column here is not the value that went out on the assessment notice. That previous value column is the 2020 value. The current value column is the updated or changed 2021. Okay, so this first one, Abraham Anderson, his assessment went out, and in February he had a appraisal done, and he presented me with the appraisal that he had done in February, and we reviewed it together. I did have some concerns about his appraisal. Technically, when you're having a fee appraisal done, the comparable sales should not be adjusted more than 15%. Like, for instance, when I say adjusted, like if this one parcel is 5 acres and then the comparable property is 10 acres, they have to make an adjustment for the size of the lot. They make adjustments for square footage, fireplaces, bathrooms, things like that. And the overall value should not be adjusted more than 15% for a true comp. And On his fee appraisal, the values on all three, well, actually there were 5 comps and they were all adjusted over 20%, some up to 30%. And Mr. Anderson has a cottage on his property that his mother-in-law lives in, and it's very nice. And the appraiser also, there was one comp that he had that was actually the most comparable. It does not have a cottage, but he did not adjust for the cottage. So there were some issues with the appraisal. But with that being said, I did give some weight to the appraisal, and after discussing it with Mr. Anderson, he was happy with the adjustment. His fee appraisal was at $325,000, and I made some adjustments and got it down to the current value down to $389.95, and he was satisfied with that after we discussed the fee appraisal and the issues that I had with it. So I sent him a 30-day notice on that new value. On the next one, Catherine Durham, she had a mobile home that was foreclosed on at the end of the year last year, and so it was not on the property as of January 1st. We went out and did a field visit to verify the mobile home was gone, and so we removed the mobile home on that property. Keto Land Company had 4 properties that were timber properties, and there were very few land only properties that did have values adjusted because they were right at that large acreage break. And so the values went up on these 4 properties, and they had some concerns about that. So upon looking at those properties, it turned out that even though they were smaller tracts, they joined much larger tracts. And so I was able to apply an override acreage on those properties based on the properties that they joined and reduce the values. And so the lady from Keto was satisfied with that change with the override acreage. So that's with the Keto. Julia Leonard, I'm going to pull that one up just to make sure. Okay, so they had, their property was damaged during the tornado, and they put a new roof and did some significant upgrades to the property. But one of the issues was that they had a outbuilding that was demolished due to the tornado, and it was about it was less than $2,000 because we had an override value on there from when we field visited the property, but before the first of the year they had completely torn it down. So we made that change for them. And let's see. This John Ray, you'll see it on the homestead application, but the homestead was removed in error. The Mr. Ray passed away, and he was on the death report, but his wife continued to live in the house, and her name is on the title to the property. And so we put the homestead back on there for her. And then the last 2 are for 2 houses that Joe Steverson owns in the city of Woodland. Both of those properties had significant deferred maintenance. And so I made changes to those based on photos and comments from the taxpayer.
Okay, all right, well, let's see. I guess we'll entertain a motion to
I have a question
approve.
if I may.
Well, I was going, if we, maybe we'll get a motion in a second, then we'll have any discussion or question.
Okay, okay. I move that we approve the BOA real property 30-day NOA approval as recommended.
Second the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion or questions for Lauren?
Lauren, on that second property, Durham property, you said the trailer was no longer there. Why wouldn't that be? Why wouldn't the current value be 0?
She has more than one.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so there's the other mobile home, and then there's the land value.
Okay. Good enough.
Okay. All right, well, let's see, Lauren, you explained all these real well, if there's no further questions or discussion, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, all right, motion passes. And these revised notices are approved. All right, let's see. Then moving on, we've got the appeal report,
Yes, sir.
got the active appeal list.
Yes, sir, it is. And you'll
This is
see,
just information. I take it this is just an
it's just an
no
update,
action.
yes.
No, it's just an update for us. Okay.
And so you'll see the total appeal count there. There are a couple here that you'll see that we discussed 30-day notices on. And then the other ones, as they stand at this time, no changes have been made to those.
Okay. Are folks using the online appeal module?
Yes, sir, they are. And so
Okay.
they seem to be having pretty good luck with it also.
Are you steering them to that when they
We
call?
are. We are telling them that the module is available if they would like to use it. And of course, if we let them know that if they don't have internet access, that we're still accepting paper appeals. And so we have had some paper appeals, but I would say the majority of them have been electronic so far. And I have had quite a few people just contact us asking about the comp search feature. And so a lot of those people at this point have not filed an appeal. So I don't know if they're going to file an appeal or if they were able to use the comp search feature and were satisfied with the information that they found and decided not to file an appeal. So
Well,
I guess we'll know that closer to the appeal deadline.
Okay. As I mentioned to you, I had one call from a property owner. I believe she said she was in Oak Mountain Estates. Fairly quickly, I guess, after the notices went out a few weeks ago, and sort of had a detailed conversation, just basically listening to her, I guess, more than anything. But I'm surprised. I would have thought the list might be much longer today.
Yes, sir. And we did have about 4 appeals come in yesterday that were not on this list, but it's not, the response, we've had lots of questions, but most people seem satisfied with our explanation of the reason for the increase. And like I said, we may see a significant amount of appeals towards the end of the appeal period. I can't say, but people are doing their research. They're using the portal to do comps and sales searches, and I've had a lot of really good feedback about the fact that the information is there and it's easily accessible to the public. People seem very pleased with the website and the portal.
Well, that's good. That may be money well spent then that we, like I said, that you recommended when we did that. So, and the lady that called me, she went into all the, the news reports about home sales being strong and low interest rates and lumber prices being high. She basically, and basically said, that prices were going up. She just didn't like it. She just wanted somebody to listen to her say how she didn't like it, and wasn't happy about it. But far as the facts of the matter, she didn't really want to argue about the facts. So.
Yeah. And I mean, and as you can see, the majority of the, if you're looking at sections of the county, we do have 3 from Oak Mountain Estates. So,
well, I was curious about it. She sort of indicated, I got the idea, she talked about other property owners, and she mentioned they might get a lawyer, and I don't know, they must have a homeowners association or some kind of group where they must meet, and so it just sounded like that you might be getting a number of appeals from that area or that subdivision. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions or comments on the let's see, looks like we got 12 on this list and then 4 yesterday. So maybe 16 or so pending right now. Any questions on the status? Okay, all right. If none, we'll move on. The homestead applications for 2021.
yes, sir. So you have a list there, as you can see. One of them is an S4. The other one that we discussed a few minutes ago that was on the 30-day notice list. And then the other one is an S5. And so that's the reason that these 2 are on today's list, even though the period has passed.
Okay, remind us, the S5, is that the disabled veteran?
It is.
Okay. And so that one can be any time. It's not, the April 1st deadline does not apply.
Right.
Okay, and then the other one is the one you mentioned earlier that was removed and being added back because
yes, sir.
The widow still lives there. Okay. Okay, so you're recommending, I guess we need to do these first 2 is one item of business, like you've got them on the agenda here. So,
yes,
all right,
sir.
do we have a motion to approve the 2 recommended homestead applications for 2021 as presented?
I move that we approve the homestead exemption application for the 2 names listed at the top, Mr. Inkle and Mr. Ray.
Second the motion.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions for Lauren? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks. All right, motion passes. All right, and then the rest, it looks like for the next year, the digest year 2022.
Yes, sir. So this is they're just basic homestead applications for next year. They presented all the proper paperwork, and that's it.
Okay. And I take it when people are contacting you about their notices, you all are going over to see if they've got everything,
Yes, sir.
taking advantage of everything that they're eligible for. And maybe why we're seeing a few extra this month.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the homestead exemption applications for digest year 2022 as presented and recommended for approval?
I move that we approve the homestead exemption application for digest year 2022 as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right, let's see. Then we got the forest land protection exemption applications.
Yes, sir. And so you guys have a listing there, and basically what happens with these is we have the application period for continuations, obviously. And then once that period ends, we send another notice. And so these applications for continuation fell within that time period for the second notice where they had the final period to apply. They're all continuations where the property transferred hands.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to approve the FLIPA exemption applications as presented?
I move that we approve the FLIPA exemption applications as presented.
Second.
Okay, I'll have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks. All right, let's see. I take it there are no releases this month. since
No,
these are
sir,
continuation.
not on these.
Okay, so then I believe we're ready to move on to the CUBA exemption applications on the next list.
Mm-hmm. So these, the continuations that you see are the same explanation that we had for the FLIPA with the periods and the transfers. And then the new ones are where people have applied for conservation during the appeal period. And so we recommend an approval on all of these as well.
Okay, if I recall right, the law does allow for folks to apply for the CUVA during the appeal period. They can apply for the homestead once the April 1st deadline runs up, but on the CUVA, they can.
That's correct.
So, okay. Okay. And let's see, do we have a motion to approve the CUVA exemption applications as presented and recommended for approval?
I move that we approve the CUBA exemption applications that are recommended for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those are, is any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. And let's see, now I believe we need a motion to approve the releases. It looks like 3 have releases. Is that right, Lauren?
Sir.
And so I believe that we always have to do that as a second item to
Yes, sir.
approve the releases as presented and recommended for approval.
I move that, I move that we approve the releases.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the releases as presented and recommended for approval. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, our motion passes. let's see, then, all right, Lauren, let's see the, your, update.
I do need to get you guys' BOA days to submit for the final, billing for this part of the year. You know, we do it in quarters, so we're due for April, May, and June. I know there have been some days where you guys have come up and signed paperwork, and Dan, you've sent emails, and then we probably are at a point where we do need to get some additional paperwork signed that's been pending since the last time you guys were up here. So I do need to get those days together. If
Okay,
you'll
so
be
you want to
thinking
be
about-
sure to get those in by the end of June. So
Yes,
they can
sir.
hit that budget we looked at a while ago with your money still unspent.
That's correct. And I just wanted to make sure that I account for any time that you guys have other than our just normal meeting days. So if you'll be thinking about that, I'll be reaching out individually to go over those days with you, okay?
Okay.
And otherwise, let's see. We got new glass put in our front door. It had previously been a plexiglass type thing, and it had cracked, and it was very foggy from cleaning supplies being put in it. And so that was replaced with actual glass, and it looks, it's like a shatterproof glass. It looks really nice. They have measured to also do the back door, so that should be happening sometime soon. We have gotten approval to put an order in for the sign outside because it's looking very worn, and so we are. I'm working on that, and
What's the status of the tax commissioner's office? Am I understanding correctly that they are not planning to come back to the building?
Well, you know, we don't have anything firm, but I was told when we ordered the sign that I could just order it with our information on it. So I believe that's the case. We have been told, well, okay, so I don't know if you guys have gotten this message, but at one of the most recent county commissioners meetings, Ronnie Hendricks was promoted to like assistant county manager. I think that might be the right term. And so he's handling all building and maintenance stuff. And when we discussed it, he told me when I ordered the sign just to put our information on it, and that they had some things in the works for the tax commissioner's office in like a capital outlay type budget. And once that was finalized, we would have access to the other areas in the building.
Okay. I saw Ronnie at a Lions Club, yesterday, and then we had the first meeting back in middle of May, early May, resumed the in-person meetings. I wasn't aware of his promotion, but I did visit with him, and I just told him I'd invite him to one of our board meetings and have him just give us an update, and that you know, that we needed to, I guess, be involved in what's going on. I guess when I talked to him, I was telling him about you know, we hear things through the rumor mill, and there'd been a rumor about moving out to the old sheriff's office and how that was going to be inconvenient being away from the courthouse and all. And so anyway, I'm going to invite him to maybe give us a brief update on some of the plans. And he mentioned about, I think they've got an architect maybe doing a new building somewhere that
well, there is a new building going up where the old county gas pumps used to be, but it's my understanding that's going to be kind of like a maintenance area for him. I don't, and I would assume that he would probably like to wait until the plans were finalized to give an update so that it wouldn't be just speculation.
Well, what I don't want is plans to get finalized where, you know, what I want is for you and us as a board to have input on what our needs are and
Well, it's
particularly
been my understanding that we are not going to be asked to relocate, that we are here to stay, and that the building will be just for us. But that may be, if you have those concerns, it may be that you need to get on the agenda for the county commissioners meeting instead of asking them to come to our meeting.
Well, I don't want to be griping. What we want is more of an information sharing for him to update us on what the plans are. That I got the idea that maybe like a new building going in where you are there now. But I'm not sure. We'll invite him to come just, you know, give us an update on what's going on his end. And because it's about, you know, it seems like we're hearing more through the rumor but there are things happening on the county and, you know, that some changes and improvements going on.
I
That
have
I
been
understand.
told firmly that this building is going to stay and we are going to remain.
All right. Well, that may be the latest then.
But I mean, they could be talking about putting another facility on this lot because we do have a good bit of room in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll invite Ron, and I appreciate. I wasn't aware of his promotion. That's good to know too.
I don't have anything else.
All right. Does anybody want to have any questions for Lauren about our update or what's going on? Or
I indicated to you guys earlier that I was going to get off the board this year, and I'm thinking next month.
Mr. McCants, you're breaking up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can.
Yes.
Okay, I had indicated that I was going to get off the board this year, and I've decided that next month's meeting will be my last one. So you had indicated earlier, Lauren, that I needed to write a letter. Who does the letter go to? And what should I, just tell them I'm getting off?
Yeah, you probably need to send that to Carol probably just as soon as possible. You can email it, that'll be fine. And just copy me on the email.
Okay. Will do.
all right. Well, we're gonna miss you, Omar. We
Well, I've enjoyed being on the
well,
board. But I'm running out of time. So.
And we appreciate your service and all your dedication to the county.
Well, I've enjoyed it. Like I said, it's been a good board. So I'll be involved next month, and after that, I'll be off.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for
Welcome.
your service.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Let's see, Lauren, on your update, we sent Carol the proposed budget for next year. And I think you told me that you may have met with her, I think, and answered some questions and discussed it in detail. And then I've seen in the paper, I believe they've started having their budget workshops.
Yes, sir, but we
Any-
haven't gotten any final feedback, and that's why I didn't have it as an agenda item this month. As soon as I get a final for them, I will have it as an agenda item again.
Well, that's what I wanted, was just a status update. So the status is, it's still in the works. And
Yes, sir.
but if share with us, I believe your meeting with Carol, you said you thought it went real well.
That was on the agenda for last month and we covered it in the, meeting minutes, but yes,
Okay,
sir.
I couldn't recall if we talked about that last month or not. So you reported. Okay. Okay, so then no new development since last month.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. All right, if there's no other questions for Lauren or on things going on, moving on to member matters. Of course, again, Omar, you're going to be missed. But we appreciate you, and it's been a pleasure serving with you on the board. And
Well, as I said, I've enjoyed myself and I've learned an awful lot. So
mhm,
appreciate the opportunity.
mhm. Sandra, did you have anything this morning?
No, I didn't, except that we will definitely miss Omer.
Okay. Let's see, I did notice on the GAAO website that the summer conference is scheduled for middle of July. Last year it was canceled due to the pandemic. And I'd been curious if they were going to resume the conference this year, but I did see that the information is now posted and available. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to attend this time or not. I'm sort of looking at my schedule and seeing if I can make it work. But it starts with a kickoff on Sunday and goes through the banquet on Wednesday night. But anyway, Lauren, if you would just share that with us. I had to log into that website, and I was pulling that up. It's probably in the news. You may have some newsletters that have come in that we haven't picked up.
Okay, I will. I'll find the information and I'll forward it to you.
Right. And were you interested? Were you or any of your staff interested in going this time?
I know my staff hasn't mentioned anything, and I don't have plans to go. No, sir.
All right. Well, y'all can discuss that and look at it. I know most of the training has been virtual, but they do have some classes that'll be in conjunction with the conference. And like I say, they have posted that, and I think it's that third week in July.
Yes, sir.
So did any of y'all participate in the caveat?
No, sir.
Okay. Are the presentations from caveat, are those available somewhere?
They are. I can find the link for that if you're interested in those two.
Well, that'd be great if you'd share that, because that it's good to keep up with the law changes and what's going on there. I knew they did that one. I think they did that one virtual again this year, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And let's see. Okay. And let's say you need me to go by and catch up on some signing again?
Yes, sir. We've got just some minutes packets and a few applications.
Okay, all right. Well, I plan to swing by there sometime in the next. I'll try to give you a heads up so you can have things spread out on the table for me like you've done before.
Yes, sir.
And let's see, and then, but otherwise, sounds like we're pretty well caught up. And let's see, I guess we'll be looking at the next regular meeting sometime early part of July.
Yes, sir.
Do we want to say maybe tentatively July 14th?
I don't have dates set yet, but I intend to take a week or so of vacation sometime after the appeal period ends. And honestly, that week is the week that I was looking at. But I don't know for sure. Does the 7th not work for you guys?
No, I will be out of town for a week that week.
Yeah, that's and I've got a conflict that morning. Mom's got a doctor appointment. And let's see, Sandra, you're out of town all week.
Yeah, I'll be in Captiva.
Yeah, that's the holiday week.
Well, let's put it down for the 14th, and then if we have to postpone because I am able to plan my vacation that week, then we'll just change it.
Okay. We'll make it tentative then, and if we change it, that'll be fine. Of course, the following week is that conference we were just discussing, and I'm not sure. The one and only time I've been, I really enjoyed it, found it very productive, and I enjoy seeing the folks from other counties and Department of Revenue staff and all, and discussing issues and problems with them and that kind of thing. But okay, we'll put it down the 14th at 10 o'clock tentative.
Okay.
All right, well, let's see, is there any other items or any announcements or anything?
I don't have anything.
Nothing.
All right. And let's say I did tell Lauren to share with the staff, our thanks and commend them for all the work and getting the notices sent out, whether dealing with the new information to add the garbage responsibilities and but all the changes and meeting the deadline. But
Are you there, Dan?
yes, did you hear? I was just saying
Yes, sir. And I've told them.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, I want you to pass along our thanks and gratitude for appreciation for all the hard work and the overtime hours and so on. So, all right. Well, let's see if there's no other new business. I'll take a motion here and entertain a motion to adjourn. It's right at almost right at 11 o'clock.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We'll declare our meeting adjourned. And
All right. Y'all have a great day.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
everyone.
all right.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.